said quite bluntly.
Instead, and that means Rumble ban will come in from H2k and maybe something like Gangplank, but I think Rumble is the one you really want to get rid of when you play Shen top.
And there you go.
There we go, and that
Rumble
should be
removed.
the Jhin on the side of Vitality. And I don't think they need to ban other AD carries.
Where does Nuclear then lean to? If Jhin is now gone, Ashe was banned in round 1, Varus is still up, so due to Vitality ban Varus as well? If you really want to,
picked it.
I'm blind. Thank you very much. So,
it'd be weird if they did.
The next question: what is Nuclear gonna play?
Caitlyn, most likely. Ezreal is a staple for a lot of Korean AD carries still, but I think it's gonna be Caitlyn. This is clearly something H2k said it's okay for them to actually give over or allow Vitality to ban this Jhin that is considered by many the best AD carry at the moment.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that they didn't value it, but obviously the Shen is a power pick. There's the Caitlyn ban.
There we go.
That means Ezreal will most likely be the choice. Oh, unless they have something spicy here. That's why they actually left it open then. Lethality MF. I played against it in solo queue. The ulti, it wrecks you.
Okay.
It will literally kill you from 100% to 0 when she has Ghostblade. Ah, you're boring. Come on, H2k.
One item, 100 to 0.
Ghostblade and you're a squishy AD carry. She ultis you. If you stand in that, you're done.
Well, now I'm disappointed. We're not going to see it because Ezreal was locked in.
I thought there was something
Boring
special.
and safe and scaling.
Yeah, I thought there's something special planned. That's why they didn't go for that Jhin, but Probably is boring. We knew that already, obviously. We tried to talk to him. Super, super boring person.
Yeah, probably just all serious. Never smiles,
All the
never
time.
jokes. Every time you see him on camera, it's a scary, scary guy. The newest edition of Mic Check, actually. He's seriously staring down Yankov.
I know. Yankov was revealing strategies, and we showed them to the internet.
We
and
did.
You know?
Disappointed Prolly. So for Vitality, they lock in the Rise, got themselves some good wave clear. There's a couple of tanks off the table with obviously Poppy and Shen locked in. Gonna go for another combatant. Not really the Rumble, but at least Trundle will make Shen's life very difficult and push that side lane.
Yeah, as you said, a split pushing choice against the Shen. Obviously, H2k looking to force team fights and get Shen out of that lane, but right now H2k doesn't have any hard engage. Ezreal doesn't offer anything, Zyra is not hard engaged, Kha'Zix can't really jump in head first. And against the Ryze, we see Taliyah often, Corki, Victor, Orianna. There's like a ton of picks that mid laners actually like to play against the Ryze.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a weird thing, because like nothing hard counters Ryze. But every mid lane has like 2 or 3 things where they're like, ooh, I really like to play this against the Ryze, but it doesn't counter it. Ryze will always do fine, he will always be able to lane, he will always scale into late game.
Well, we got the very, very exciting Victor Deficio.
Man, probably
/S. Yes.
He's hit a new low right here. He actually threatened to slap me in the caster room as well.
Safe, controlled. This is H2k. You mentioned there's no hard engage, but if there were a team that were averse to team fighting and wanted to win by playing, you know, smart, I think H2k would be one of the forerunners for that style of play.
Of course. I mean, it's always been the style that Prolly has kind of enforced on his teams. I will say, though, I think this composition from H2k, while it is fantastic at like late game team fighting, I actually think it can be fairly difficult to play until you get to late game.
Yeah.
We talk about the lack of hard engage. If Trundle and Ryze gets off to a good start and they go to the side lanes and start pushing these side lanes very, very, very aggressively, H2k's way of like forcing something is either by sieging around the mid lane or by setting up like a Baron or Dragon. But if you don't have map control, if you don't have side lane pressure, that can actually be fairly hard to do. So I think H2k is going to rely a lot on Vitality playing aggressive and then H2k kind of responding and winning the late game team fights.
All right, responding to Vitality's aggression and side lane. That's what we're looking for. The drafts, they're on your screen. They're locked in. The champions are on the way to the Rift. It's time for game 1 between Vitality and H2k.
Possession got slow.
Slow. Void Assault. Look at that isolated damage.
Daisy, break up the fight.
Combo Shark's healthy. Trashy does not live through it. And first blood secured.
First blood secured. Who will it be? Vitality or H2k? We're loading up onto the Rift. And if you look at the minimap, down in the bottom lane, there's already some shenanigans.
We don't want to see it, Trevor, because no one died. And here in the EU LCS, we only show kills. No trading. Nuclear will have to go back, but luckily for him, it's early enough that he can return with the minions.
But Deficio, he had to start E.
That is...
Lane pressure.
Yeah, that actually sucks. That definitely sucks for him. You want to have to queue for early push. But that's what happens when you get surprised. Level 1, I think Vitality were kind of hiding in the bush and then invaded towards where Nuclear was sitting in that river bush, and then he had to jump out. But again, this pick and ban phase from Vitality, they've been so special, I feel like. And not in the Unicorns of Love where we're super excited and it's kind of fancy way. It's more like, like why are you first picking Varus when Jhin is available? Yes, I know H2k didn't pick it because they valued the Shen above it, but most teams would have been like, that's a weird trade. Yep. And now you give us Kha'Zix as well.
Yes, giving Jankos, Kha'Zix, you know, the former First Blood King. Yes, I say former First Blood King because right now Joko is actually the jungler with the highest First Blood participation. Deficio. Joko is coming for the king.
He's definitely coming for the king. Better not miss. And that's what we got to see in this game here. Jankos was crying on Twitter because of his lack of first bloods when I decided to tweet it out and taunt him a little bit. He's angry, and he's ready.
He's ready indeed.
Also, Ivern first bloods.
It's less likely, isn't it?
It is less likely in a sense. Obviously, what Ivern can do is you can do a full claim your own jungle, which is what Joko is doing now. So he set up these 2 camps. He's going to go towards his bottom side. He's going to grab Raptor, he's going to grab Red Buff, then he's going to return to the top side to get the Wolf Camp, and the Grump. And then he gets level 4 before any jungler, and he can start ganking.
That's what he's going to look for. I mean, there's a lot of damage with Nuke and Cabo, and you saw the First Blood participation down on the bottom of your screen. Joker's actually been involved in all 5 of his team's First Bloods, and Jankos with an early hop over the wall.
It's interesting pathing here from Joko. He doesn't go top and take the entire wave. He recalls on bottom side, Also just to buy him a few seconds to potentially see a gank from Jankos and then cancel his recall and go in and counter gank. Decided to do this recall because he didn't see Jankos down here. Nuclear with that E level 1, which is huge, as you highlighted, Trevor. Getting bullied early on.
Have to see how many of these last hits
That's the worst feeling, by the
tower.
way. If you guys play Zyra at home, be careful with just randomly Eing the wave on the tower, because you might ruin some CS for your AD carry.
Oh yes, Nuclear 10
He lost
to
a few
18.
there.
Quite a few indeed. I think he was able to pick up the cannon creep at least, but that's me being super optimistic here.
Such a positive guy, Trevor.
Being shoved into lane, and this Zyra, you know, being good into Mel's, not going to get the chance because of how heavily Nuclear is being pushed in.
It's also your AD carry choice. Like Ezreal, yes, he has good early, like level 1, 2, and 3, but then he loses after to things like Varus, Ashe, these kind of picks. So Vitality are actually happy with this 2v2 bot lane right now, just due to the AD carry choices. We know Victor in the mid lane against Ryze. He will farm, he will scale, he will wave clear. That's effectively what you're doing. So Ryze will have control to roam. Look at your minimap, Nuke is already moving just to place a ward. But he can keep doing that. Again and again, he can instant wave clear on this Ryze, threaten bot lane, threaten top lane, allows Vitality to play very fast here in the early game.
Talking about Febervin on this Victor, he's a jungler who's received a lot of pressure. Traditionally, opponents against H2k have tried to camp Febervin out, and he's on this control mage. He's going to be able to play either aggressive or defensive with that wave clear, depending on what he wants, and just wait for Jankos to support when needed.
Yeah, you're probably not going to gank the Victor with Cleanse in this game. But if you are Vitality, you have to obviously respect the Shen ulti that's going to come in later. Oftentimes, you attack the global then. You go top, Trundle pushes in the Shen. Once he gets level 6 and he gets his first item completed, then you get the Ryze roam, you get Invade with Iron. Both junglers are bottom side again.
Dash over the wall, and Shani flashes away to safety. 1-for-1, Joker was coming down, and Jankos also hanging around in the river.
First time in 2 weeks I've seen a Chani actually survive a gank. Impressive change from him. Normally he would flash the other way.
Spicy this time round. And Shani's going to get rooted in place. Nuclear going very aggressive. The essence
Classic Achani.
First blood
Man,
to
I love that
Nuclear.
man. I love him. I have no flash. I don't care. Let me just go 1v2 here. My AD carry sitting and farming. Good old Hachani. Everything is standard again.
So last week and the week before, 6 isolated deaths. We'll spend another moment. Jankos looking for Nukeduck, who's running low on mana. There is a flash for Nukeduck's Rise. Jankos fires out the Vord spikes. Really wants to scare him away. But yeah, 6 times Hachani has died alone where there are no teammates within 1500 range.
Yeah, so let's look at this replay. Jankos is still on the bottom side. He could actually turn around and come down and jump the Dragon Wall. Hachani is on a ward. His AD carry is still farming really far away from him. And he's like, I'm just going to take this random trade for absolute 0 reason.
Definitely lost that one. Jankos is going to leap in. Cabo shot. Pillar of Ice does nothing. H2 kills.
Sadly for Jankos, this was only second blood. Was not part of the first one.
No, it wasn't.
He's going to be happy though. He gets the Kha'Zix again, almost like a free pick granted to him.
Technically though, Joko is still ahead of Jankos in first blood participation. Those stats haven't changed yet, but H2k, very good early moves. Hachani donated a kill, and Jankos and Kha'Zix making the champion work.
Good guy Hachani, man, coming to Europe, feeding all the bot lanes. And me and Crepple, we were watching the games last week. We were rewatching the games, sorry, last week. With Vitality and Hachani. And the most impressive thing was, even in moments when Vitality were like 4v2 or even 5v2, Hachani managed to kind of get split from the team and then get killed by like a 0-5 Kha'Zix. It happened like multiple times. I have no idea how. There's clearly miscommunication between him and the other Vitality guys. Bot lane is taking some damage here.
Yeah, no Daisy yet for Joko, so not really under threat. Nukeduck is going to get jumped on by a full rotation from Febervin, just trying to push him out of lane. Nothing really gained just yet, and the wave is still pushing a Nukeduck, so he can respond. And as it stands, Cabo goes down the subjugate onto Odo 1 there. There's still a flash. Keeps walloping in with that pillar. And now Odo, not really at risk of being doped just yet. Still difficult against the Shen.
It is. Jankos is mid again, Trevor. Nukeduck has both summoners, so this gang is going to be almost impossible to execute due to the fact that Victor CC is not consistent enough. Top lane though, Trundle He's like this weird counter pick because he's such a slow counter pick. Like it takes forever for Trundle to actually like really take over the lane and just to kind of weave you down.
Yeah.
It's more he forces you out of lane, out sustains you, and then starts hitting the turret, which is what Cabochard is looking to do.
It's about the lane, you know, and pressure, but it also needs support from vision, and that's what I want to keep my eyes on that mini-map for.
And then the other thing it offers, which is this combo we've seen before now in Europe, is the Malzahar Trundle combined. That means if you are playing a tank, which Odo is in this case on Shen, you're just going to get wrecked in every team fight. Because you go in, Trundle ultis you, and then Malzahar ultis you, and there's like this % damage, and the tanks die really quick.
So Fisher, that is the theory, okay? We need to see exactly how well Hachani and Cabochard make that work. Because while the theory sounds excellent and beautiful,
it's very spicy.
there is still an element of positioning there that needs to be adhered to.
Yeah.
So I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm optimistic at the possibilities.
It's an option for them. Problem is obviously then behind the Shen you're killing, there's like 4 carries here with the Zyra, who might kill you.
Joker's going to be able to just get out of range of Che's grasping roots.
And if we're lucky, we see one of the biggest changes here in 7.2 in this game. The Rift Scuttler will eat your honey fruit. You actually you have to kill the Rift Scuttler to get it away from the honey fruit so you can grab it. It can be impactful, probably not. But there's a chance you can't grab it and you die.
Everything's impactful, right?
Everything
I've seen butterfly effect. You know, one little butterfly flap can start a tornado on the other side of the planet. That's how it works.
Yeah,
right?
I don't really believe
Okay.
what you're saying right now, Trev. But
One honey fruit being eaten by the Rift Scuttler could feed Febiven in the mid lane and allow his Victor to go off.
See, that's what I want to see. Because then I know the live designers are sitting at home kind of clapping, being like, yeah, that's what we wanted. Bot lane gang.
Wow, there's the flash engage. Che's in trouble. Stands United, though, keeping him alive just long enough to flash away. It's H2k that kill Hachani. Now Yankos. Void assaults forward. Very big shield coming up from Joko onto Steelback. And that was an instantaneous ulti from Odo.
Really good reaction from H2k. Vitality without teleport, going for a gank in the bottom lane. No deep vision to spot Yankos either. So it was a very risky play and it backfired. Cabochard might get this tower down. 50%. Shen is coming back. This wave is dying. Odo might be able to return in time.
Gonna be close. It looked like Joker was stood on top of a ward, so H2k aware of the impending doom. They get their third kill. A double kill for Ezreal at 10 minutes. That's a pretty good start, if ever I've seen one.
Especially because he had to start with Arcane Shift in the lane, and he lost a lot of CS, so the fact he can now bounce back in this game is important. Ezreal is one of these champions where you need like 2 or 3 items to start, especially 2 items, and the third is good for you as well, for it to become super impactful. This turret, though, is still taking damage. So is top lane towers. Vitality are looking at these juicy outer turrets, but they've been giving up 3 kills already.
A lot of kills indeed. Teleport's going to be up for Odo 1-mate very, very soon. True Shot Barrage just to clear out the wave here as Joko using that Brush Maker. Decent route, but no minions to work with. And that means Vitality, their siege is being delayed.
Still, we're early in the game.
Yeah.
It's okay if you're Vitality when it comes to taking down this tower. TP can be matched by Capo now, so that means Odo Amne can't really just TP down bot lane and make something happen super easy. Ryze can still roam mid first, also has the ulti, so Vitality will get this tower.
Yeah.
And that really is the game plan, like take this bot lane tower, then take top lane tower.
Nucleus trying to play a bait as Yankos is waiting in the wings. Stood right on top of a ward though.
Is that a control ward next to it?
Fully aware.
Interesting, so basically in the tri-bush, the control ward placed by H2k does actually not block the vision ward because there's a little tree sticking out, just blocking the vision of the control ward. And Yankos obviously expects there not to be any wards because he has his control ward down. He was spotted though.
Unfortunate for Yankos and H2k. As it stands though, we keep an eye on Nukeduck and Febiven. And Deficio, while Vitality look like they're going to get this tower first blood, let's touch very briefly on Nukeduck versus Febiven. Nukeduck looked pretty good last week. Febiven obviously playing very well throughout the spring split. And these are 2 majors that are going to continue to scale into the mid game, continue to scale into the late game, and of course it's Febiven that is, you know, looking very good as far as the stats are concerned.
Yeah, we get to see a dragon fight here, Trevor.
Yeah, dragon fight indeed. Yankos gonna get taken down by this Infernal Drake. Not yet. Strangle Thorns from Che, and Yankos survives. How does Hachani always do it?
So, Nukeduck has not skilled his ulti yet. He's putting all his focus on just the laning phase, so he couldn't even join and actually finish Jankos. But you see in the replay, if it was possible for Nukedog to port in with ulti and actually turn it around, or if there were too many members from H2k and it was just Hachani on a solo mission, again, he was so close. Like, come on, that's like one hit more from the Dragon.
Do you know, I really, in prep for this series, guys, I actually said to Deficio, I really don't want to focus on Hachani dying.
He's making it really hard not to
last week,
focus
you know,
on
and
him.
like when he comes over from LCK, there was the whole meme about it, and he got better. And I really said I don't want to do because the story's overdone. Come on, dude, you're not making it easy on us. 0-3, handing gold on a silver platter to H2k. But because of Town First Blood, it's Vitality that are still even in the game.
See, Trevor, he won his lane. Scoreboard doesn't always tell the story. Pressure the lane. Okay, his jungler was there like half the time. I think if we get the jungle proximity around bot lane from Joko, it's very, very high compared to Jankos. But still, Hachani fed away some kills. Could definitely avoid 2 of them, 100%.
Yeah. At least 2 of 3. We're getting to 15 minutes. Taking a look down the CS, it's pretty much even across the board. Obviously, the 2 kills for Nuclear, despite giving up Town First Blood, means it's close. All right, Hachani, Nether Grasp. No Nether Grasp, no Nether Grasp. Few seconds longer. Here comes Daisy. Jankos being burned down with Malefic Visions, and there's nothing to follow up. No ulti from Hachani, and
yeah,
that means they just back away.
So H2k swapped to top side. Obviously, a very early swap for them, which is very good here, seeing as you have no bot lane tower to play around, and if a Rise can push out mid and go down and kill you. All right, so let's see this again. There's no ulti from Nukedog, so you can't really get past the Victor. But in this situation, had Nukedog actually skilled ulti, I think he could have TP'd or ultied in there and joined the fight. We're still by coming around. Joko.
All right, Nether Grasp from Hachani, this time saving Joko's life for a few seconds longer. Daisy Stampede indeed. And Joko manages to escape with his life. Hachani, right place, right time, this time round.
This time he didn't die, but he did use his flash. He's probably going to die within the next 3 minutes. And H2k, once again, I think actually they respond really well. Like, we said this in Champ Select, H2k's calm. He's not looking to be like overly aggressive in the lane phase. Later on in the game, they can't like hard force a team fight either. So they're reacting to Vitality all the time. Joko, Hachani was in the river, fighting for vision. They got punished, 2 flashes down. Only Che has flash and cooldown on the H2k side, and now it's a good roam here from Febby. Will be spotted though.
Yeah, taking a look at that item build. Got that Hex Core already at perfect state. Pair of Lucy boots up, and while H2k apply pressure in the top left quadrant of the map, there's a blue buff steal from Nukedog in the bottom right.
I'm very surprised that H2k has just been able to swap top lane and not really be under pressure until now. But obviously it comes down to Joko and Hachani having to flash just before. Because Vitality are trying to like push 2 lanes now. They surrender Cabochard's lane against the duo of H2k. They say we're gonna push in bot with Rise, we're gonna push in mid with Varus. And they need to just keep sieging and getting damage on these turrets here, because when you play 1-3-1, you want open map.
Yeah.
When you play against Victor, you want a really open map so you can play away from his lane, because you're never gonna properly get to his turret with his instant wave clears. You always want to play around him, and then you want to threaten these like flanks on him.
Well, you talked a lot about the lanes and how, you know, Cabochard's going to be unlocking these side lanes for Vitality. You know, this is the first game all spring that H2k have not secured the first tower. They had first tower secured every single game. Despite Hachani's deaths, the pressure in the champion composition has given them now what looks like their second tower. There's no contest from H2k. They're at least going to take a marginal lead. And look, there's even pressure middle, so Vitality playing the pressure game fairly well.
They definitely are with their winning lanes, winning side lanes, which say still back.
Oh my word, the Chaos Storm in Jankos. Stand United delivers Oda1 to the front line. Nukedog's over on the side. Hachani takes a ride out, gets a silence and a Nether Grasp. Joko still tanking for days. He's already used Redemption. That's the big shield from the Trigger Seed. Round warp forward, and H2k running away. Vitality have got 1 kill. Nukedog now gets the shield from Joko. And I didn't see if the teleport was cancelled by Cabo. Odo not looking for a target just yet. And Odo still with teleport available. It ends up being a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1, but H2k again is trying to push on top side. They want to really get this tower down because they want to get some gold in the bank. They've been doing fine in terms of kills. Now they even out the gold here as well. They got the Infernal Drake, so while Vitality have used the side lane pressure to get 2 auto turrets, They're still on the clock here. They're still looking for
Nukeduck
more.
wants this. Got red buff. Rune Prison overload. The second one doesn't connect, and Nukeduck ghosted up for that.
Small thing to highlight there. Febby delays his cleanse because he wants to see where Nukeduck is shooting the Q first. Then he cleanses and steps to the side. Because if he cleanses instantly, Nukeduck can still hit him with the Q here and actually deal a lot of damage to him. Still back, Hat Flash. Didn't get to use it. Kha'Zix, that was left over, given to Yankers. Pick up a very easy kill. Good ult here from Achani into Nukeduck combo, and then also good ult from Nukeduck after to kind of follow and go even in the trade.
Whenever I see picks and bans, Deficio, I always look at what was the first priority picks for both teams and how are they performing. Vitality picked that Varus first blue side. Did well, at least. Helped control the lane despite Achani. And they allowed Yankos to play Kha'Zix, who's 2-1-1. Now I want to see what Yankos does with this versus how much pressure Steelback can continue to apply.
Yeah, and then also the Shen pick was left over to H2k. This has been one of the most valuable top laners in Europe. And even here in 7.2, where you can go grass empty on dying, Shen is very strong. Not one of the tanks who will out on Curse of the Colossus to be good.
All right, H2k looking for the dragon as Odo...
That's the combo!
Yeah, Odo sacrifices his life for this one. Well, sacrifice is a strong word. Odo is the victim for the dragon. This is an investment into future, into late game for H2k. We're going up to 20 minutes, and with Daisy, this should be a tower. Cabochard is wrecking this tower. This is a scary sign if H2k cannot maintain control over Cabochard. Oh, cheers. Nukeduck run warps out. Flash for flash. Shay gets that from Nukeduck.
Yeah, I mean, H2k right now, they're taking trades they don't want to take. I'm going to face check there and die. This tower is going to die as well. Like, Vitality are just kind of left to do whatever they want.
H2k feel like they got their pants around their ankles. They're being dragged around the map, and Vitality 5 towers to 1. This is not the early game we were expecting.
Well, again, we talked about the scaling on H2k in Champions League with Victor, Ezreal. We talked about how the comp can be hard to play as well, but that was also more looked at later on in the game. Vitality, we knew they're going to win topside. Bot lane, because of Arcane Shift from Ezreal as well, was pretty easily won by Vitality, and also with Joko's help. Yes, they gave away kills, but they still managed to take down that early turret. So Vitality have been doing their job so far with winning these lanes, applying pressure to the side lanes, and they need to keep doing that. Like, Cabochard needs to just find that side lane every single time. Bot lane should be the one he's going to now, because 1, Baron is up and he has teleport, and 2, that's an outer turret he can kill.
Oh, a lot of damage onto Hachani, but he's able to get away with his life. And Deficio, the comp from H2k is going to continue to scale and develop. But when we've seen H2k at their weakest is when they're looking at some of those bigger team fights, so other elements of the game are stronger. How do you think their team fighting composition is going to come up against? It's quite an interesting comp here from Vitality that ideally wants to 4-1.
Yeah, it's not like Vitality's composition is terrible at team fighting, but the Trundle impact can be difficult to use in these fights here. Often you like ult the tank and you kind of just sit in the front line and be super annoying. It's hard for you to stick to targets, especially something like Ezreal. But I still think with Ryze in there, with Varus, a well-played team fight from Vitality will be good.
Yeah.
I think H2k's team fighting comp, though, is overall stronger just because of Victor Ezreal.
All right, so the champion combination puts it slightly in favor of H2k. We need to see if the player combination makes it work too.
It's basically like, what I like about H2k is the kiting.
Yeah.
I like how hard it is to get close to a Victor with his gravity field. I like with Zyra ulti, Ezreal and his personal mobility. It makes it hard for like Trundle and Ryze to stick to these targets here and like just kill them very easily. But if Vitality can flank and get to like Febiven very early, they can definitely take him down quickly and win the fight.
Which Vitality will we see? Last week in their 2-0 against Origin, the first game was very clean. They snowballed extremely effectively, and Vitality closed out game 1 in magnificent fashion. Game 2, a slightly different story. A little messier, a little more mistakes. And Vitality won't be allowed that freedom for mistakes, not only because the caliber of opponent is stronger, but also their team composition. Decent route there onto Yankos, but there's no follow-up from Vitality.
But here's what's going to happen, Trev. Cabochard will just keep sitting in that side lane, and if H2k are not able to force a fight around Baron or Dragon, which they won't be able to if they're getting pushed back on the map all the time, then Cabochard alone will take another turret, possibly an inhib, and there's nothing Shen can do against him. And that will just allow Vitality to play this game where it's all about pushing mid and then letting Cabochard split push. Because if you push mid first, H2k never gets to set up Baron and never gets to force a Baron fight. And then you join Cabochard like this and you pressure this tower here. H2k always a step behind in reacting because they have no lane pressure in any lane.
That just means Vitality take the 6th tower of the game. Vitality now peel away, they maintain their gold lead. They've got pressure lead on multiple lanes.
And they don't care if H2k's composition is built to late game team fight. They just care about the fact they're winning with Ryze and Trundle, and Varus can instant push mid and Ezreal cannot. Ezreal needs time, he sits there, Mystic shots, kind of hits with that little whimsy auto attack he has. It takes him forever. Varus is one arrow and then like a few autos and it's gone. So Vitality doesn't even care about H2k's composition. They're playing their own game. They're only playing for structures right now.
Yeah. Well, that's good because the structures that win you games.
It is.
Deficio, and this is a little bit of growth, a good development from Vitality. 2 items for Steelback. He's got that Edge of Night to complement the Ghost Blade. 2 items for really everybody on Vitality except Tachani for now. Slowly scaling up on the H2k side as well. Jankos went for that QSS. 2nd item. Get rid of some of that CC. Especially because he wants to be jumping on Tachani as many times as possible. Extremely important.
Yeah, definitely important. Edge of Night, item I like a lot right now. Lethality, obviously. But also, we decided to buff it. Give it 15 seconds less cooldown on the active, and it's a fairly strong active to use if you time it correctly. Think of like Jankos jumping in and his first Q gets blocked or Shen taunt gets blocked. Like that can be extremely impactful in a potential fight.
So much damage protected. It's 30 seconds till the next dragon. H2k, not the greatest vision, but setting up for it, it feels like.
It's just very hard to get down wards when you can't push lanes.
Yeah.
Because that means it's often 1 or 2 guys kind of moving in on their own, and the chance of you then getting caught is very, very high.
I mean, talking about getting caught, like Nuclear and Shay getting caught to that level 1 and starting E and then being pressured the whole time, that small little impact has had such a big snowball effect on the entire game. Vitality played very well with Cabochard, they played very well with Steelback's Varus, but Vitality, are they really starting Baron here instead of Dragon? They know there's no smites.
They're trying to rush it down with Daisy because Jankos was spotted down near the Dragon.
There goes Daisy. Chain of Corruption's going to start to spread. Odo's on the front line, locked down, but it's Che that gets caught with Nethergrass. Che's able to flash away. Stranglethorns is going to buy some time. Daisy still alive. Redemption buys a couple seconds, and Nuclear with the Mystic shot gets the kill. Stand United on Jankos' back. Jankos flashes over the wall, leaves Odoamne behind. Round Warp still available for Nukeduck, gonna get needed. Steelback snipes one down. Piercing arrow across H2k's broadside. Steelback still alive. The shield survives for a few seconds longer. This is a fight on a million fronts. Nukeduck with a double on the back end. 3 for 3.
Let's see, Nuclear Odoamne. There's an ulti from Ryze. It's a bait though.
It is a bait. Nuclear trying to at least clear this wave. He's got a Vamp Scepter for HP. Disappointed Prolly. In the bottom of your screen, Odo and Nuclear. They're looking for Nukeduck. No, they turn. It's Choco the target. Mystic shot, Rune Prison, Nuclear, Arcane Shift, but the shield explodes! Nukeduck and Choco ace H2k.
So in the end, Vitality win the fight because of Nukeduck, but damn, that was a tough start because Tachani ulted Che instead of that Shen. We talked about the combo, Trevor. They could have killed Odoamne so easily. Baron will go down though, and it doesn't matter because this is the year of Nukeduck. I had to say it, Trevor, just for the fun. Come on, he's playing well. He's playing well. He's playing well.
Exceptional performance. Nukeduck and Vitality have Baron at 27 minutes. They won the team fight. And now Steelback's still looking for a steal. Is this going to steal?
it.
Close. Jankos able to steal the 3rd dragon, but what a great fight. And exactly like you said, Deficio, Nukeduck cleaning up on the back end.
I really want to see it again, because I think the start here from Vitality could have been much cleaner. So, ulti is great for Steelback, and now if you just ulti Odoamne as the Malzahar, you kill him very easily, and this fight is much, much simpler to play. We see the kiting, we talked about in Champs League from H2k, they want, you know, Vitality engaging in, you kite back, you set down some of your CC, Nuclear, you can deal a lot of damage. It's very hard to get onto them, but now H2k also chase. Chase too far because Nuke is on top side, he's kind of ignored. All the carries are just running towards the rest of Vitality, and Nuke kind of sitting on his own, flashing in. And at this point, as a Rise, if you get to clean up this
so much
backline,
damage.
Oh man, that was some sick ass
Through
damage.
exhaust in a 1-on-2.
Oh, H2k are gonna be so annoyed at themselves when they rewatch this fight, how they just ignore Nuke on the top side and they just chase and chase and chase.
And probably was watching that entire fight.
That's why he was mad.
Yeah, exactly. We understand even more clearly. The Nuke was allowed to run free. Vitality applying pressure on 2 lanes. Remember, there's no inhibitor turret up top. There's now pressure being applied middle and bottom lane. Jankos at risk of getting caught out. Sidesteps the root caller very luckily, and Vitality slowly but surely chipping away at these objectives, Deficio.
Yeah, really, that was the fight for H2k. To get a goal lead and get back in this game, and they're really far behind now. Yes, they have 3 dragons, but at the moment, the goal lead is the more important thing. Vitality 7 towers to 2. Copper Shot, while he's 0-2, can still have impact in a side lane. Rise is the Fed member.
Deficio, can you explain to me how backstage we were talking about the matchups today and talking about how, you know, H2k should be favored to go 2-0. H2k should be able to punish Vitality, and yet they're 8,000 gold down.
League of Legends is a weird thing. European League of Legends is always very hard to predict. I think based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks, H2k should be a much stronger team than Vitality in current form. However, each week can change a lot. We're early. People are still learning a lot of stuff. So if you had a great week with some really good scrims, maybe you come in as a completely new team. They did take down Origin 2-0. Second game, yes, was a bit of a mess. But Vitality clearly had a plan with the draft. While we can question the first pick, the winning side lanes have allowed Vitality to get a big lead in this game.
Absolutely. Vitality now, side lane pressure for Nuke. He's got that Ghost and Realm Warp if he needs to join a fight. Shay is taking a lot of damage from those piercing arrows, as does Jankos. Look at that. The rest of Vitality now working with the minion liners. Another piercing arrow. This was a first pick Varus. Duskblade of Drakthar, Ghostblade, Edge of Night. And the inhibitor turret in the mid lane is just... it's melting like a hot knife through butter. That quickly. And H2k, where do they find their fight? There's no hard engage.
They can't hard engage.
You said this in Picks and Bans.
They cannot hard engage. They can literally stand here and wait for Vitality to engage on them.
Okay.
But Vitality, as we said, are playing for structures.
Yes, they are. They're ignoring the champions. They're still behind in kills.
They don't care. I'm like, oh, is that, you know, a Shen and a Kha'Zix in front of me? I'm just going to step back. Then the rest of my team are going to hit the inhib. We don't care about Israel, we don't care about Victor, we're never gonna let them fight. Jankos is trying now.
He is indeed gonna deliver Odo Wamne. It's a decent taunt, but it's not enough yet. Odo this time gets locked down. Hachani's figured it out. It's Nuke that's unstoppable. His 5th kill of the game. Inhibitor in the mid lane is destroyed, and H2k are running with their tails between their legs.
Vitality getting everything at the moment. 2 inhibs going down. 10,000 gold lead. And H2k can have all the damage they want from the backline. The backline can never get to deal the damage.
No, it cannot. There's no tower to worry about in the top lane. H2k, 25 seconds in a 4-on-5. The inhibitor being chunked down. Steelback's running out of mana. They've got to be careful, and the gigantic shield on Nuke from that Seraph.
Bjergsen? Oh, okay.
Nah,
I thought it was
far
a
enough.
play.
Baron wasn't even up.
No, but still. Whenever I see a Rise do that now on top side,
is that what you're calling it?
they have to call the Bjergsen now.
Okay, I can go with that.
We don't have a choice.
I mean, it was a team play, so would you not?
Yeah, but if you heard the mic check, it was his call.
It was.
So yes, the team stepped into it.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you clicked on the...
Hey, he provided instructions, bottom left corner, and everyone stepped in the bottom left corner.
That's very
Which
true.
made me funny, because the circle doesn't have a corner.
Not bad, not bad.
Meta to fish here.
You're very smart.
Vitality have got 3 inhibitors down, a 9,000 gold lead in H2k. Their mind has to be on game 2 picks and bans. H2k have side selection. Picks and bans, though, may have been an element of why they lost, you know, not being able to control early game. But it was in-game decisions where Vitality earned their lead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a mix. I think H2k's comp, as we talked about in Champs, like, is very hard to play.
Yeah.
Because again, it's so slow scaling, it's so passive in what you do. So the way you beat like these comps with Victor, Orianna, Corki, is again, you play side lanes, you play split push. So you don't give them the 5-on-5 team fight where you just like run at them. And that's what Vitality have been doing because they drafted a Trundle as a counterpick to Shen. The Ryze had control in mid and has been able to control side lanes. Nukdog again has been playing well. So it's really a smart answer from Vitality. Maybe it was all a bait with the first big virus.
So Fisher, is it fair to say Vitality have won this game soon based on macro play? Is it decision making? Yes, team comps are a side of it, right? But understanding the weaknesses of H2k's team comp is what's allowed Vitality to now start on the Nexus.
According to that, definitely fair. Vitality, I think, actually would feel like it's been a fairly easy game to play.
Yes, looks like it. It's a good taunt into Nukdog, but he's able to escape with his life. So much damage in Oda 1. Nether grasp onto Febiven. Febiven gets dropped down before he can even use the Chaos Storm. Oda 1 is killed as well. Super minions. The army is flooding into H2k's base. The Nexus is now the target. Nuclear gets knocked aside by the Pillar of Ice. And it simply does not matter. Hachani will die as Vitality pick up game 1 against H2k.
Well played, Vitality. Some curveballs in the draft for sure. Still don't think like necessarily need to first pick that AD carry, but that doesn't matter because they had some good answers later on in the draft. With Trundle, of course, blind pick Ryze for Nukdog. I said you have Nukdog in the game, and I think
indeed.
We might not have to, you know, call him the best mid laner in Europe, but I think he's the best performing member in Vitality right now. And I think he showed that in this game as well. And H2k drafted a passive comp that needed a lot of time to scale. And yes, they got some early kills, but they still lost bot tower, they lost top tower. And it kind of snowballed out of control. They had no mid lane pressure with the Victor at any point in the game.
Yeah.
I don't actually think I saw H2k able to like really push out these lanes at any point.
No, you're 100% right, and that's why they lost the game. So that's 1 on the board for Vitality over H2k to take a closer look at how it happened. Let's send it to the analyst desk and say, how the hell did Vitality win that game?
Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we want to start with a little montage of the Hachani early game. Now, over the course of the last few weeks, we have been very critical of Hachani as a broadcast, but this is just not the level of play we've come to expect from him. And there was part of me that wanted to wonder, is Hachani in the right place? Is his team not following? And how did you guys feel about the early game here?
Honestly, I was very surprised because the big question with Hachani has always been, okay, he's a Korean import, and you expect him to have good map movement, good game sense, but it just seemed like he was completely lost this game. He just kept walking into them completely blind, sometimes knowing exactly where they were, and he still went in.
My biggest problem is Hachani has no respect for his own summoner spells. He's never like, oh, no flash, I probably shouldn't do that. He's just like, I can walk forward, just go anywhere I want. And you saw that it was like 30 seconds before that first death that ended up being first blood. No flash, he'd just been used and just walking straight forward into Che, and Che just punishes him as you'd expect.
And we call him out because we keep seeing this time and time again. And this is a huge glaring issue for Vitality because when we now kind of turn our attention to the draft, we thought Vitality had this one in the bag from the pick ban phase. And Hachani very much risked throwing that away. But now we take a chance to look at pick and ban. Were Vitality just 100% out-drafting H2k here? What do you think were the thought processes on both sides?
So I think that Vitality definitely had the better draft for sure this game. I think H2k were like nearly completely reliant on Jankos just like snowballing early game, which is why Hachani like controlling was just like all the more scary because it's just like really dangerous. But I think that H2k had like a really bad draft, a lot to do with like the Shen third pick on red side, because you pick Shen, you want like a strong bot lane to play around, like Shen ulti, level 6, you dive, you like snowball from there, get first blood tower, and so on. But they pick this Shen when they don't have an AD carry, and then suddenly Vitality just ban like Caitlyn, Jhin, and now you have a losing bot lane as well. So you have losing top, you have losing bot, and your Shen can't really make good plays happen bot lane, and you just get outscared by Ivan. So the draft was really unlucky, I think.
Yeah, I really think they were trying to do what Unicorns keep doing, which is we'll just save our AD carry for rank 2, and, you know, Samux will pick up Caitlyn in the second phase. The other problem that stemmed for that, you know, we were talking about this during the game, the Vic last pick. You've already given away the Ezreal for no pressure on bot side. Now you're going for a mid laner that only wants to wave clear and gets poked down every time he steps forward. What were some of the other options we were looking at, like the
I think
Syndra,
what it comes
maybe?
down to is when you play Shen, you're either looking for the bot lane snowball or you're looking for like a 1-3-1 from mid lane. And Victor doesn't offer any of those. He's just a wave clear tool for your side lanes, which they have weaker ones. So then what I expect is like maybe something like Syndra would have been good. Corki would have been okay because either of those with Syndra, you have mid pressure. Kha'Zix has a lane to make plays in and then roam to side lanes and try to bring these lanes back for H2k. That would have been good. Corki has his package, so in those package moments, maybe they'd be able to make plays on bot lane with Shen. Like there were just better options that would have made this comp fit together. But with Victor, they really gave themselves no room to make plays.
So the big thing that I want to point out here is that despite all this, Vitality, I mean, clearly drafting a superior comp, it still feels like there were some small weaknesses in Vitality's strategy, and H2k were in a position to potentially exploit that here at this Baron.
And this is one of these moments where Vitality, we were talking about it, they start the Baron, which is the right call, they peel away from the Baron, which is also good, but then they kind of get grouped into this fight where Hachani tries to ult onto targets that he really shouldn't be. They should be looking at the Shen at this point. Jankos, with the Shen shield, comes forward and thinks he's still okay to move into this fight and does not, again, really respect the damage coming from Steelback. And the rest of it, Alfaro, you were looking a lot at how Odo Amne was positioning here to finish this fight. We still thought this was okay for H2k up until Nuke Dog going off, right?
Yeah, well, I think this is like particularly bad for Vitality to do. Like the initial turn was fine, you know, they get flash on Shen, everything's looking good, and then they just chase way too hard on the Che, I think. And it's bad because I think Vitality outscaled them really hard. So the only real way for H2k to win, particularly this draft, is to like have like a really big, you know, 5v5 mid game, which is exactly what Vitality are giving them here. They're giving like H2k the only chance that they can have to win. And like luckily for them, I mean, Nuke Dog plays this fight really well, and they managed to, you know, win the fight regardless.
Nuke Duck popped off that series. Like, we have to praise him because there were still some weaknesses in Vitality, and I feel like he carried them through those team fights, but just came in. H2k have chosen blue side in the following game, so they have the power to adjust here in draft. Do you think we're going to see the same issues from them, or is there just no way that that's going to happen again?
I hope they fix this because like the Shen pick comes down to like the basics of draft, which is you have to know that Shen is really only good into two types of compositions, and it's just weird to me that like such a drafting error can occur at this level, especially from H2k. We expect so much from them at that point. So I hope that this time around, at least if it's not a winning draft against them, it's a cohesive composition. I
think we learned, though, get phase 1 AD carry in this one, and I feel like Nuclear and Che are just going to crush Steelback and Hachani if he's making the same mistakes.
Ah, God, I'm curious to see how it works out. Hope Hachani can turn around. Hope H2k can turn around their drafting phase. But while the players prepare for game 2, we're going to take a break, kick back, toss some saplings, and we'll be right back after this.